Let's talk about some of the stuff that they announced. And I mean, first of all, I guess hardware. Xbox Scorpio, Project Scorpio, coming holiday 2017. Rob, you impressed?
I'm amazed by this. I think the way they pitched it has been fantastic. The main thing that they were saying, the key point, is that any Xbox game can play across any Xbox system. That's the original Xbox One, the Xbox One S, or Project Scorpio. That is the key point. Now, whether Sony can say the same thing about PS4K remains to be seen, but I think that's a key point for Microsoft. The second key point, and they were talking about it in the video, they were saying this was designed for developers. And I think that's so important. The Xbox One's quite tricky to develop for, quite elaborate. The PS4 has been a massive success because Mark Cerny built a machine that was very easy to develop for.
Right.
I think changing that perspective, making this as easy as possible to develop for, it's going to be a key thing for them. So I'm super impressed.
6 teraflops, that was what the rumor was floating about 2 weeks ago. You're talking about like a 3 to 4 times, you know, you can never tell unless we actually get the games and start doing performance runs on them. But it's a significant upgrade. At this stage, Mike, could they almost call this a new console? Because, you know, it's. I guess the reason they probably wouldn't is because then with the backwards compatibility stuff, or the like constant cross compatibility, that messaging might get a bit muddy. But it seems like a pretty fundamental upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with all the actual improvements, if it is like it's purported to be 3 or 4 times more powerful, that's that's like the jump from a console to another generation. The Slim in the meantime is pretty big. I mean, that's what, $300.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem too out of people's ballparks, I guess. Just like to fill that gap before, because holiday 2017 is sort of a while away for this kind of announcement, I guess. Well, maybe not for this kind of announcement. You know, like consoles are always rumored for a while, but you still have like PS4.5, whatever it's called, that's going to be announced, you know, in the interim. We'll see when they actually release. But like Rob had said, the fact that it's kind of this lineup of consoles, it's like this brand now. It's not exactly, they're not marketing as a new console, despite the fact that from a hardware standpoint, kind of is.
Yeah, I guess it's probably the new frontier of consoles, this incremental sort of upgrades. This also sort of cleared up some of the virtual reality stuff that came out of Bethesda when they said, hey, we're launching Fallout 4 on HTC Vive in March. I guess that's why they said that, maybe, because we're not going to get... I mean, Microsoft didn't talk about virtual reality at all. The rumor was that they were in with Oculus. So maybe you could interpret that as, okay, all that stuff's going to come on Scorpio in, you know, holiday 2017. We'll talk about that later. What's your read on that, Rob?
Well, the big question is, what virtual reality device are they talking about? They're saying this console is VR ready, it's VR capable, no compromise is what they were saying. Slight dig at Sony, if you ask me, because Morpheus is quite a modestly powered VR device. They're saying no compromises, but the question still hangs in the air. What VR device are they talking about? Are they talking about Oculus? Are they talking about Vive?
Are they talking about both?
Yeah, are they talking about HoloLens? Have they even made that decision yet?
Right.
Who knows? I'm not really interested in VR, but but you know, it's quite an interesting point, I think.
Yeah, Dave. Before the show, you were talking a lot about how, you know, it is time for the Xbox Slim. We did finally see it. It's got. They were talking a lot about the 4K video, which was rumored beforehand. There's a new wireless controller with a textured grip, higher range, Bluetooth, same price as the regular one, and they also mentioned HDR games. What do you think about Slim? Do you think it's a decent stopgap between this and Scorpio?
When they announced the Slim, I was excited for it. I thought, okay, maybe this could be something I can pick up, replace my old giant Xbox One. But then at the end, when they announced the Scorpio, I was like, what's the point now?
Right. Yeah.
Like, surely I'm just going to save my $300, wait maybe an extra year, deal with the Xbox One I currently have, and then get a Scorpio.
Yeah.
But for people who want to get into Xbox One gaming, I think it would be a good stopgap because, like they said, everything now works on everything.
Yeah, they've really torn down some walls here. The interesting thing about that, $299, I mean, it's basically going to replace the Xbox now. I don't see why anyone would go for that. It looks super slick as well. And then the other thing that they added, I guess we should throw in with this slot, is the customizable controllers in Design Lab. This is like the least Microsoft thing ever, to like let people make their own controllers. What do you think about this one, Rob?
I'm really excited to build my own controller.
How much would you spend?
I would spend
$50 right now for a regular ass one, $150 for your esports controller. What would you spend for pink triggers and a green faceplate?
My line is $79.99.
No, you got to talk them down. You got to start at 40. Because they're going to try. Yeah, do you think it's going to be a premium price on this, Mike?
Probably. I would
Alright.
spend like 100 if I can get like
Would you?
Yeah, if I can get like a lime green and orange controller or something.
Just some gaudy awfulness.
Yeah.
You could change up the D-pad and the thumbsticks.
Put my name at the bottom.
So I'm guessing this works like whatever, like what were you saying, like that Nike store in New York where you just walk in and
Yeah, some like the bigger Nike, like Nike Town has those shoe labs. You can design every aspect from the swoosh to the.
I can see every
Little plug for
game
Nike.
being released as an Xbox One exclusive now, coming with a pre-order bonus of controller skins, though.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
They just
That's
like
cool.
pre-built. I mean, yeah, that Nike stuff you can do online as well, and like Puma as well, and a couple of other shoe stuff. So perhaps this is via a web page or an app of some sort. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Okay, let's get into the other interesting. I guess another interesting announcement we saw today was the walls of the software walls have been sort of like taken down between PC and Xbox One. And we talked a little bit about this before the show started, but this was pretty ubiquitous across all the games they were talking about. Rob, what was your take on what is Xbox's crossplay? What have they called it again?
Play anywhere. I think
Play
it's
anywhere,
called.
anywhere, wherever you want.
This is part of Microsoft's continued efforts to be more and more and more like Sony and more and more and more and more like Valve.
Right.
This is cross-buy, cross-play on Xbox, basically. It's a long time coming. I'm glad it's here. I don't know how successful it's going to be. I don't know how many people are in that Venn diagram of Windows 10 fans and Xbox One
Right.
fans who want to play a game between their PC and their console. I don't know how many of those people exist.
I think the biggest problem they had previously with this was that if you owned a PC, because the Xbox One was so underpowered, that you were like, okay, well, if I'm going to get Quantum Break on both of these, or any of these games, you'd be like, no, I'm definitely playing it on PC. Like, I played The Witcher 3 on Xbox One, and then when I built my new PC, I have never touched that again. Like, you'd never choose one or the other. And the thing with the Sony stuff was that, like, it was on PS4 and Vita. And it made sense, because they're like two different use cases for playing games, right? So it did feel like an value-added thing. So, I mean, lots of games have this. They were talking about Gears of War was going to be on that, Forza Horizon 3. They've also talked about cross-save being sort of ubiquitous, and cross-play then between a lot of these as well. So we had Xbox One folks playing with PC folks in Forza as well. It's a better deal than the Sony thing, right, Mike? Because it's like these are full-price games. It's not like, Vita. I like my Vita, but it's a Vita,
Yeah, it's like Guacamelee and stuff.
Yeah.
Good game, but
Indie games mostly, right?
Yeah. No, like this is, you buy Gears of War 4, you have it on both platforms. Like you said, it makes a little more sense to have one that's like kind of a mobile thing and one that's or handheld and one's like stationary in your living room. It's kind of odd that it would be odd if like the PC and consoles were just kind of you buy one, you don't have the other, even though that you're playing in the same space. But it makes sense. I mean, if I get Halo Wars 2, I can
Right.
play it on my Xbox. Depending on where I am, I can play it on PC. It seems like a really good deal. You're not like forking out like two different versions of the game, like
Right,
$60
and like
each time.
And they're surely not losing money on this. Like, there's probably not a lot of people who are like buying both on PC and Xbox.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
up until now, they're probably going to get a lot of goodwill out of it. It's going to feel like an AluVAD every time you buy an Xbox, because every person buying an Xbox is like, oh, all these games are going to now work on
I
it.
think from their perspective, it encourages PC owners to check out an Xbox, encourages Xbox One owners to upgrade to Windows 10, which Microsoft
Right.
really wants
Yeah,
you to do.
that's a good point.
Because it's not going to be Windows XP, presumably, not going to be Windows 8, it's going to have to be Windows 10.
ME.
Did
Again,
I just
ME.
say Windows XP?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So it's not going to be any of those operating systems, it's only going to be on Windows 10. So, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, good news.